Hello, I'm Sonny Alvarado, your host for On the Spot today. Today we'll be talking about traveling. Destination, Southern California. Today we'll have guests here and they'll be talking about their experiences in sunny Southern California. Please welcome our guest, Lisette Donaire.
What up, dude?
How you doing?
I'm good.
So, you recently visited Southern California. What was your experience like?
Oh, it's my second home. I went to go see, my pals at Disneyland. I went to go explore Hollywood Studios and all of that more.
Nice. How was the trip?
Boring, because I hate being in the car for more than 2 hours. I get anxiety in the car, and then when you have my parents who kind of just do their own thing, and I'm kind of just there, I'm just like, what the do I do?
So it's like you hit up a lot of different theme parks.
Yeah.
Okay. Any places you recommend visiting or revisiting?
I would say Porto's.
Porto's, what's that?
Yeah, so it's a Cuban restaurant. It's really good. It's always packed. Literally, there's lines maybe from the front to around the building, and you'd never know when you're gonna be next or be caught up. But it's really good. If you were to rate it, it'd be 15 out of 15.
It's called Porto's?
Porto's.
15 out of 15. How many times have you been there?
Every time I go.
Really?
Or anytime I know somebody who's going down, I'll ask them to bring me something back.
What's the recommended dish?
I gotta say the Cuban sandwich.
The Cuban sandwich.
Oh yeah.
Should I ask? I'm thinking if I should leave it a surprise for when I go down there and try it, or
leave it a surprise. Let's say
Okay.
leave it a surprise.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
How was the trip back?
I slept most of the time.
No one really cares about the trip
Yeah,
back,
no one
huh?
really cares about when you drive down or when you drive back. It's all about what happens there when you're there.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Cool. Well, that's all the questions I have for today. Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh yeah.
Please welcome our guest, Josh Price. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Doing fantastic. Heard recently you visited Southern California.
Yeah, I did. 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I went down with a couple of buddies. Yeah.
Nice. What'd you guys do down there?
We went down to go to Disneyland for the whole weekend. We just stayed there, chilled. Yeah. Rode all the rides, all the attractions.
Cool. Yeah. You guys said you drove down there?
Yeah. I drove. I was the designated driver. Yeah.
You drove the way and someone else drove back?
No, I drove both ways.
Oh
yeah.
man, they played you.
Yeah.
Well, you guys were there the whole weekend. For someone who doesn't have the whole weekend to go, what rides would you recommend they see? Or
First off, Space Mountain is
Okay.
amazing. Space Mountain's a great ride. And then Indiana Jones is my personal favorite. That's a great ride. I would say go on the Matterhorn bobsled, but sadly when we went, it was broken. It was it was under maintenance. So, but definitely that's a great ride too. Yeah.
now in SoCal, there's a lot to do other than amusement parks, food, clubs, different things like that, beaches. Did you guys go anywhere else? Or
No, not for this weekend. We didn't have that much time. Yeah.
Just Disneyland it
Just
out?
Disneyland. Yeah.
Okay. What'd you guys eat while you guys were over there?
We had all the amusement park food, the huge turkey legs. We were just gorging ourselves on $1 buckets of popcorn.
Nice.
I got a couple churros in me. Yeah.
Do you got any extra turkey legs by any chance?
No, I don't have any extra turkey legs. I wish I did, man. Those are so good.
Is there any? Would you recommend revisiting?
In Disneyland?
Yeah.
Honestly, I would really want to go on Indiana Jones. I don't even want to go to California Adventures. I just love just being at Disneyland, riding all those rides. Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I haven't been in a while, but maybe I'll go sometime soon. Or maybe we can go halves on the drive.
Yeah. It's worth it to revisit, honestly. Yeah, it's such a great place. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on today, Josh.
All right.
Oh,
Thank you.
I made it awkward, huh?
It's all right. It's all good. It's all good.
Please welcome our next guest, Zaina.
Hi,
So, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
What was your trip to Southern California like?
Okay, so I went to VidCon. It's a YouTube convention. It was amazing. I wish I can cope. It's every year. It's every summer, around June or July. It's where YouTube famous internet famous,
YouTubers, I think?
Yeah. It's a convention that revolves around them, I guess. I visited, it was my first year last year.
Okay, what was it like?
It was amazing.
It was amazing.
I mean, I love meeting them. Because I'm like such a huge fangirl. Yeah.
Did you like drive or fly out there?
We drove, yeah.
Okay, cool. When you were out, were you out there like for the weekend?
Yep, it was a weekend. Around like Thursday to Sunday, yeah.
Now, while you had time away from the convention, was there any places like any restaurants or anything you would recommend while you were out there?
Not really. We just stayed at hotel, and then the convention the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
It's at Anaheim. It's right across Disneyland actually.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
wow! So it was very, very busy over there.
Yeah.
That's cool. What would you recommend going to that convention again?
I would, but only if you like YouTubers.
Would you recommend any other site or any other place in Southern California?
I really want to go to the American Horror Story Murder House.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
They have it out there, huh?
Yeah, they do.
And I think the hotel too, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my goal is like visit the American Horror Story Murder House.
That'd be sick. That's,
Yeah.
You actually just made that one of my goals too. Well, thanks for coming on the show today, Zenith. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you so much to all of today's guests for sharing their experiences. To end things off, we have On the Spot's very own Rolando Recoder sharing his experiences in Southern California.
Hello, this is On the Spot's very own Rolando Recoder, and I'm here in Southern California. And I'm about to share my experiences with you, the viewer. And it takes many sacrifices for the bugs on the windshield for me to get over here. Now, the very first spot, Santa Monica Pier. It was a bit cloudy for my taste, but clearly that didn't deter anybody from enjoying the beach. In the distance, you could see Santa Monica Pier's iconic Ferris wheel. You could even get good eats like the Pier Burger, which I haven't tried. Even local bands come to the pier. Check out this sick cover of Enter Sandman. As you can see, there are plenty of roller coasters to choose from. Fortunately, I only rode on one of them, which is probably the most scariest one for me, since I have a fear of Ferris wheels. But you can get a lovely view of the pier itself and the beach. It's beautiful.
Oh, we're at the top. Ah! Wait, why is it not going down?
Because you gotta get people in. You could also win prizes by beating little kids in carnival games. Totally worth it for $5. Now, here's a cute sea lion. Up next, I'm going to share with you my experiences in the wonderful world of Disney. As you can see, there are plenty of things to look at as you enter the park. Even horses are enjoying the wonderful world of Disney, carrying people around from point A to point B. And you could also explore gift shops as well. Quite a sight indeed. As I was approaching the iconic castle, I was very surprised to hear music being played by musicians. As a person that plays music myself, I just stopped and listened and appreciated what they had to play. And I suggest you stop and listen to appreciate these tasty jams. I found myself in Gaston's Tavern. You might recognize him from being the protagonist in Beauty and the Beast by trying to slay the beast and win over the girl. It's also a restaurant where you can eat food. The burger I got was not quite as good as the gray stuff right there, but the pink stuff was delicious. It was poutine, I believe. Highly recommend it. 10 out of 10. After being full from all that food, I like to go on some rides, and I also checked out the Dumbo ride, which, well, I forgot the name of it, but I was in a monkey cage. And they showed you some wonderful views based off the themes of the movie. Very beautiful. And it was a nice scene. Pirates of the Caribbean was also very cool. And also very wet. And somebody better call H.P. Lovecraft because he won his Cthulhu back. Sorry, Davy Jones. You hear that? That's what happens when you ride alone. Very sad. Now I find myself in Thunder Mountain. It's quite a sight, and it's also a very exciting ride. Just listen and you'll find out just what I mean. If you're a fan of puns just like myself, then you'll love the Jungle Cruise. Here's a few, for example.
So they can avoid being spotted. So the train, we're now entering an Indian elephant bathing pool. Looks like the whole herd has come down to bathe today. That's unheard of. If you want to take pictures, feel free. They all have their trunks on. We're now on the Nile River. It's the longest river in the world. It goes on for miles and miles and miles. And if you don't believe me, you're all in denial. Last time I was here fishing, I don't remember bubbles, guys. If any of you... Oh no, this is Rolando, down! Women and children.
Star Tours was also a very exciting ride. Obviously, I couldn't record inside the ride itself. Otherwise, Disney will come knocking on my door and I wouldn't want that. If you're lucky enough, you can check out the parade at night. A very beautiful sight. And I highly recommend it if you're able to even see. There's so many people around. But I still recommend it. That was just the tip of the iceberg of my experience in the wonderful world of Disneyland. I highly recommend it even at the cost of an arm and a leg for admission. Here in Anaheim, California, I find myself participating in WonderCon 17, which is a convention for comics and art and, well, TV shows. And people from all over the world come to dress up as their favorite superheroes, meet new friends, and to meet their heroes, such as actors, writers, and artists. So I find myself with a very good friend of mine, and we're going to share our experiences with you, the viewer. Enjoy. Hello, and welcome. We're here in the beautiful Anaheim, California. Here for WonderCon 2017. I'm Rolando Recoder, and I'm here with the beautiful, radiant Luis Morales.
Hi everybody, my name is Luis Morales.
I just said that.
I know, I feel like I should say my own name.
Gotcha.
Okay, and I was here for WonderCon 2017 in Anaheim.
I just said that. Thank you for joining me today. Here's Dr. Doom, by the way. He's very cute. Okay, so we spent about a day, 2 days actually, in Anaheim, California, and it was quite interesting to say the least. There was a lot of people there, a lot of good cosplayers, and some good panels. So I'm here to ask you, how was your experience?
My experience was a lot of fun. I did a lot of things. So before I came here, I had a checklist of things that I wanted to do, or little goals that I wanted to do. Every year they have a Warner Brothers presentation. I'm a really big DC fan. So I know, in spite that I'm wearing like a Marvel T-shirt right now, but yeah, I'm a really big DC fan, and they've always showcased Warner Brothers a lot, and I was looking forward to seeing something new from them. I know with the upcoming Wonder Woman movie that I was hoping they were going to show something from that, or maybe something from Justice League, and I know they were also, I think Aquaman started filming a little while ago, so I was just kind of hoping for something like that.
Yes, very, very fascinating trailers and teasers. And it went by really fast. And so tell me about your experience about the showroom floor and what they had to offer, because there was a lot of things there.
I think the showroom floor is like, you have to break it up into like a plan. Like you got to go in there organized and with what you want to do. You can't just kind of, you can spend a whole day wandering around just kind of memorizing it, but if you want to get the most out of your experience, I mean, it kind of helps to go to a couple conventions at first. So there's like an aisle for just clothing, right? Or there's booths for just like clothing stuff. So you can buy sweaters, you can buy shirts, all that stuff with your heroes, or you can buy pieces of costume. That's more for like wear, right? Mm-hmm. There's also a comic book area, so if you want to buy comic books that are either coming out right now, or if you want to buy comic books that have already been out, you can do that. That's the comic book aisle. Then there's the artist alley, which is one of my personal favorites. You can go down to any alley, just kind of scope out different types of artists, and you can commission them to do like drawings or portraits of your favorite, superhero or character that you like to follow. There's also a lot of people that work in like knickknacks type of stuff. You can find posters or illustrations, different people's interpretations, their own artistic style and reflection into something that you like. And the show floor also showcases some, they have special booths or areas where like special, more well-known, recognized artists come and show up for like specific times. So,
shout out to Mark Wade. He's an excellent writer.
Yeah, Mark Wade was down there, and he's a really, really good writer. He's written almost everything. He the first book I ever read from Mark Wade was Daredevil, which is actually right there. He finished it, I believe, last year, his Daredevil run, but after I read that Daredevil book, it was like crazy. I couldn't stop reading Daredevil. From that, I went back and I read some Mark Miller stuff, and excellent. The show on Netflix, it uses a lot of stuff that that he wrote on there. I can really see his character, the way he wrote him in Here Comes Daredevil in that show. He also wrote some of The Flash. So I was really excited to meet him. That was one of my goals I had on my list. I was like, when I come to this convention and it says he's a guest on here, I'm going to have him sign my book. And so, I went to his panel, and then I found him on the showcase floor, and I was lucky enough to actually have him sign two books of mine. So, I mean, that was like, it was crazy. I never thought I would meet him, and like, now I have. And I spoke with him, I shook his hand. It's like, whenever you get to meet someone like that, that's like your hero, it really makes you feel well. Like, you speak with him, he's well spoken, and like, you can get that all on the convention's show floor. That's crazy.
Didn't mean to go on a tangent. We're still talking about the showroom floor. But there were also some game developers out there. And I think it was just Capcom, right?
Oh yeah, there was a little showcase on the floor for the Nintendo Switch. They had the Capcom, I forget it, what Street Fighter.
Ultra Street Fighter 2.
Yeah, and then I played against someone who whooped my ass.
That was me.
Sorry. And then they also had the little Disney Classic Showcase on the PS4, where you could play DuckTales, Chip and Dale, Darkwing Duck, and
Dangerous.
What was the last one? I don't remember the last one.
DuckTales 2? Did you say that already?
Is there DuckTales 2?
Okay. Rescue Rangers, DuckTales 2, Darkwing Duck, and Tailspin.
Oh, Tailspin. I didn't say Tailspin. Yeah, I mean, I grew up. My family was never able to afford those games, so it was, or that kind of system. So it was kind of crazy for me to play those games now. And they're fun. I mean, like, they're 2D platforming games where like anybody can pick them up, anybody can play them. It's a great nostalgia factor. It's remade a little bit, and like, again, it's another experience you can get just on the floor. I know from previous WonderCons, the Nintendo would be there, and you could try out some new hardware, new games. And every time I've left a video game showcase like that, I've always wanted to pick up a game. Like, I want to see more. I want to see more Darkwing Duck. Who doesn't want to see more Darkwing Duck?
He's been gone for a while.
I know. He's due. He's due for a comeback.
So we went over Artist Alley, the games, meeting your heroes, artists and writers alike. There's also cosplayers, not only in the showroom, but they're everywhere. Can you go over like who have you seen and your personal favorites?
Oh man, the ones that stick out a lot are people that put a lot of work. You know, like my eye is always drawn to cosplays that kind of look dead on, and like there was this really good Johnny Bravo cosplay.
Oh yes.
So amazing. He was so good because like it looked like he worked out for that part. Like he was really top.
Yes, top
like,
heavy.
Top. I don't want to say top heavy.
He skipped leg day, but yeah.
He was even the right proportion. Like if you just kind of pulled him out of the TV show, you know, it's like the hair was fake, right? But it was a minor detail. Like
I have to say, man, he was pretty.
He was like, I mean, like, if for a second you gotta do a double take, be like, is that really Johnny Bravo? I was like, oh, ask him to do the monkey. It's like it might actually be Johnny Bravo. Who else did I see on the floor? I saw there were some really good Spider-Man cosplayers. There was a lot of Spider-Man. Like everybody wants to be Spider-Man, especially the Homecoming trailers out.
Yes.
There were a lot of Spider-Gwens, which is basically a Spider-Man, but it's Spider-Woman, but Gwen Stacy. There were these super elaborate like Transformer like cosplayers. Like they were like kind of on like mini stilts or something, and all their parts, some of their parts lit up, and it looked crazy.
Optimus Prime had an interesting feature, by the way.
Yeah, he had like a special horn gun or something. Like so he had a weapon, but he had it hooked up so like each button made a different kind of sound effect. So he actually had a horn, so when he was walking through the crowd, he could like beep at people to get out of his way.
Yeah, shout out to the cosplayers. They put in a lot of effort into making their costumes, and there's some that don't put in enough effort, but I appreciate them putting themselves out there. It's not an easy thing to do. I wanted to do it personally myself, but I just never had the time to put anything together. And my man here has wanted to do that as well. Yeah. Next time. Okay, moving on to our last topic. Panels. Everybody goes to these cons for panels and seeing their idols, their heroes, you know, in the flesh, and talking about their next new project. And yeah. So we've seen quite a bit of them this year at WonderCon. Tell me about your experiences about them.
I already kind of touched on the Mark Waid panel. That was like the first big one I went to. Mm-hmm. The second one that I was kind of looking forward to is I've recently started reading this new comic called Doom Patrol. I know a little bit about them, and I've always wanted a book to come out like for my generation, and there actually has. It came out early last year, and it's actually written by Gerard Way. Yeah, Doom Patrol. The cover is a shawarma and everything. So Gerard Way was actually gonna be at WonderCon this year, and he was gonna have his own panel. And so that was another thing on my checklist. I was like, I love this guy's music. I love this guy's writing. I want to go check him out. I want to see what he's made. I've seen them in concert, so it was you know, that's one face to them. Yeah. But seeing him at a panel 1-on-1, kind of like taking a different approach to art or something that he's passionate about, I was just kind of like.
And you could hear it when he talked about it, how passionate he was.
Yeah, he was. He actually was very grounded. I didn't think he was gonna be that grounded when it came to like talking with the audience. He was very open about all his experiences. You know, he talked about. I thought, you know, when like when you're trying to maybe break into a different type of work industry, sometimes you want to distance yourself from your past, right? You're like, okay, well, this is not music, this is just comic books, so I want to just talk about comic books, I don't want to talk about music. But he actually was the opposite. He was like, well, he likes bringing his worlds together. He said, after I formed like a big fan base from My Chemical Romance, I wanted to kind of bring them into the comic book world and expose them to, I think he wrote this other thing, I'm gonna have to check it out now, I think it was called Umbrella Academy, was what he was talking about.
Yes,
yeah, it was like his,
I was about to say company, but that's something different.
Yeah.
Resident Evil. Yeah, Umbrella and Company is correct.
They weren't there this year. But yeah, Umbrella Academy, and then you know, from there he wanted people to read about Doom Patrol. He said that that comic books was always part of his life. That he when he was growing up, he used to go to this comic book shop and he used to just hang out there and read comic books, and that what he used to read was not kind of like the mainstream comic books that he used to read. You know, a lot of lesser known. He used to read about a lot of lesser known heroes like the Doom Patrol, and so he talked about his childhood and how that influenced his writing. He also talked about his battles with depression, and like what he thought was very influential for his life was therapy, and he was actually one of the people that told they gave advice to everybody about, like, if you want to go do something, go do it. And I know, like, you can hear that from your parents, you can hear that from your friends, and there are definitely people you should listen to. And then there's Gerard Way, and then when Gerard Way tells you, hey, go out there and do it, you're like, oh snap, you should probably go out there and do it. And he, like, when you go to those panels, it's like you said earlier, it's like you get to find out what they're about and what they're planning and what they want to do. And he actually said that he's building a studio and that he wants to get back into music. And
that made a lot of people happy.
oh yeah,
That made a lot of people happy.
The crowd was just kind of like, holy snap, we're gonna get more music.
Not quite My Chemical Romance, but
I mean,
his own.
Yeah, I mean, if Gerard Way was as much an instrument in creation of music of MCR, then I'm pretty sure you can look forward to whatever he's gonna make next. And it's not like, he's a creative guy. You're not gonna be disappointed with, what he comes out with. I think that was very important.
Well, I just wanted to thank you for sharing your experiences with me and everybody on the internet. So, I'm Rolando Recoder, the interviewer, and the radiant, illustrious Loris Morales. Thank you for doing this interview.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Bam! Doom! Sorry.